Hey, how's it going, guys? Captain Kuba here, and today I bring you another one of these reaction videos of a big gaming company on YouTube talking about God of War, GamingBolt. Now, I actually like GamingBolt a little bit more than I do watch Mojo. Their content is pretty good, but I thought it was a good idea to do this video because I myself am working on a top 10 boss battle predictions for the next game in the series. I already did a top 5 predictions story predictions, but I want to do a top 10 boss battle predictions, and I've been, working it out, thinking which boss is going to be in the next game. I actually have them right here to show you that I'm not lying. I've been thinking about them because when you do predictions about boss battles, you have to kind of imagine how the story is going to be somewhat. So first, I believe we're gonna be fighting Thor first. I'm not gonna get into why we're gonna be fighting these characters. I'm gonna save that for the video. But I do believe Thor. We're gonna be fighting him next. Next, we're gonna fight Heimdall, then Freya, then Fenrir. But we're not gonna kill him. That would be the big wolf. Then a Greek deity. Then a rogue giant. This you guys are gonna question, like, what is he smoking? A dwarf. But I'll explain what I mean by that. The Light Elf Queen, that's pretty self-explanatory. Odin, and then Thor and Freya. So yeah, I'm not gonna get into why I believe we're gonna be fighting those characters, but I really think we are going to see that. Again, I could be wrong, but anyways, I'm just gonna watch this video now because I like GamingBolt and I want to see what their, what 10 boss fights they absolutely want to see in the next game. So let's begin. Also, I think it's funny that Watch Mojo also uploaded a top 10 hardest God of War bosses video, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna watch it now. I'll save it for later because I mean it's Watch Mojo. And just saying, my video is on top of Watch Mojo's. We did it, guys. We did it. Whoop whoop. Okay, let's begin. Make it full screen.
God of War as a series has built its reputation on excellent boss fights.
It sure has.
That was an area where the 2018 soft reboot fell short of expectations. We're quite optimistic about how things will turn out in its upcoming sequel. With all the groundwork for the engine and new gameplay mechanics in place, SIE Santa Monica will hopefully be in a position where they can spend more time on in-game content, which will probably include boss fights. With all of the rich depths of Norse mythology and the series' own lore to dive into, there's no shortage of figures that Kratos and Atreus could come up against in set-piece encounters. And here, we're going to talk about a few that we're hoping will make the cut.
Right off the bat, like, they've said more meaningful things than Watch Mojo did. Just saying. Okay, that's my opinion, but let's just continue.
Warning, there are spoilers ahead for the 2018 game.
Oh, 2018,
Before we
okay.
go ahead, please consider subscribing to our channel. We upload new videos every single day, and your support really helps us out. With that out of the way, let's start. Thor.
Okay. So, yeah, one thing I forgot to say about my list, I don't know if they're doing that, though, about my list is that it's not just top 10 boss battles, these are the order in which I think we'll see the boss fight. So, like, when the game comes out, come back to this video, or the one I'm going to make about these ones, and then see if I was right or wrong. But, yeah, we got Thor. GamingBolt and I got Thor right away, obviously. That's, okay.
Let's kick things off with the most obvious pick. The 2018 game ended with the incredible tease of a future locking horns between Kratos and Thor, son of Odin. The entire game, in fact, built Thor up as a formidable foe, and there's absolutely no doubt that he's going to be a major antagonist in Ragnarok. That there will be a Thor boss fight is not even a question at this point, so as far as this entry is concerned, what we're hoping for is solid execution. And given the series' track record, we're more than just a little optimistic about that as well. Surtr. The head honcho of all fire giants, Surtr is almost definitely going to have a major role to play in the upcoming sequel. According to Norse mythology and according to God of War's own take on it, Surtr is destined to be a key figure in Ragnarok, supposedly as the one who will bring about the destruction of Asgard. Getting to take on this massive Jotun in an epic boss fight would be a very God of War thing for the game to do. Of course, as things stand right now, Kratos only seems to be headed for a fight with the Aesir.
Exactly.
And his association with the Jotun has been surprisingly friendly. From Faye to Jormungandr to, of course, Atreus, who is half Jotun. But then again, Kratos has never been one to value associations like that too much, so you'd never know.
Okay, I want to talk about that first real quick, because I actually had Surtr as in my, because I already did like a top 10 boss battle predictions for the next game, and I had Surtr in it. I've changed my mind about that exactly because of what he said. Like, Kratos seems to be only going after the Aesir gods. Now, there is a backdoor way in which you could make Surtr a boss fight, and that is if he's training Kratos for the fight against the Aesir gods. That's possible, but that means we won't kill an actual giant. That's why in my top 10 predictions, I have a rogue giant. Rogue meaning that he has betrayed his kind, and he's going to be more likely in the side of the Aesir gods. And that way, we can actually take on we can actually take on a giant like Kronos from God of War 3 and actually kill him. That way it's more satisfying. So I don't think it's going to be Surtr anymore, but I do think it's going to be a rogue giant just so that the player can take on a huge boss battle.
Heimdall.
Yeah, he's right there. Okay.
Kratos does indeed head to Asgard to take on the Aesir, and it's looking very likely that he will. There's absolutely no way he will not come up against Heimdall. He is, for all practical purposes, Asgard's first line of defense.
Exactly.
Anyone who enters and exits the realm using the Bifrost. An adrenaline-fueled boss fight against him the moment players enter Asgard sounds like a very alluring prospect indeed. On top of that, in actual Norse mythology, Heimdall and Loki are supposed to kill each other during the events of Ragnarok. Whether or not Atreus will die at Heimdall's hands remains to be seen. God of War doesn't necessarily have to follow the mythology to the letter, of course, and it hasn't exactly done that in the past either. But even if it does portray events that are at least inspired by the mythology, a face-off between Atreus and Heimdall looks very likely.
So, yeah, I said I wasn't going to talk about why I think these characters are going to be the ones we're going to fight, but what the hell, I like talking about God of War, so yeah, I do think, I've said many times, I think Thor is going to kill Kratos at the beginning of the game. That's why it's going to be the first boss fight. Then Kratos is going to go to Valhalla, and on his way out, he's going to fight Heimdall. So that's the reason why I think Heimdall is going to be the second boss fight. Let's continue.
Freya.
Wow, okay, dude, we're actually getting it, like, exactly. I don't know if they're actually going for order, but we're just going... Oh, no, he did say Surtr. But, yeah, I do think Freya is going to be the third boss fight.
Again, this one is pretty much guaranteed to happen. After spending much of the 2018 game as Kratos and Atreus' closest ally, Freya broke under the weight of grief when she had to watch her son be killed by Kratos. The relationship between her and her father and son duo has soured, understandably, and Freya looks hell-bent on ensuring that she rains down more pain on Kratos than he can imagine. I don't know about you, but to me, that sounds like a boss fight in the making. Freyr. If Kratos and Atreus do face off against Freya, there's a pretty good chance that they'll lock horns with her brother Freyr as well. But his familial connection to someone who's shaping up to be a formidable foe for them isn't the only reason we think he could show up as a potential enemy in Ragnarok. The 2018 game has portrayed Freyr as a figure that has deep ties with the Light Elves, and he does indeed have ties to Alfheim in Norse mythology. And we know that what went down in Alfheim in the 2018 game was only set up for bigger things that are yet to come. The war between the Light and Dark Elves is far from over, and if that plot point returns in a significant manner in Ragnarok, which seems pretty likely, we wouldn't be surprised to see Freyr taking center stage, perhaps even as a boss fight.
You know what? GamingBolt actually convinced me, because before I actually had Freyr in my original top 10 predictions for boss fights, but now I just don't know where to put him in the story. But I guess it might be either Freyr, however you spell it, or the Light Elf Queen, because I know we've seen pictures of her, like images of her in Alfheim. But like he said, the Light Elves are very associated with Freyr, so we might actually be fighting Freyr. That way we get his weapon. So I'm kind of torn in between those two, because I do think there's going to be conflict with the Light Elves in the next game, because they're teased by the God of War 2018. It's either going to be Freyr or the Light Elf Queen. So I agree kind of with GamingBolt there.
Ragnar load broke.
What?
Though Kratos has fought and defeated no small number of mythological figures and titans and what have you over the course of several games, Every now and then, he also comes up against relatively normal humans. In God of War 2 alone, in fact, he fought the barbarian king as well as Perseus. And we're hoping that there will be a similar boss fight against the legendary Viking Ragnar Lodbrok in Ragnarok.
Isn't it
After all,
Ragnar Lothbrok? Loth? Not Lodbrok. What?
Kratos does present a major threat to Asgard. Wouldn't it make sense for Odin to summon the greatest Norse warrior at his disposal from the halls of Valhalla to fight by his side?
If he is, he's going to be a side boss, I think. He's not going to be one of the main ones. I just don't think he's going to be like a really cool boss battle. That's something God of War 2018 didn't have, side boss battles. So if we do see Ragnar, he's going to be a side boss battle.
The boss fight against the dragon in the 2018 game was one of the game's highlights, which is why we're hoping to fight another dragon in its
Fafnir?
sequel. Kratos and Atreus managed to free dwarf-turned dragon Fafnir from his shackles in the previous game. At least, if he did that side quest. And he's still out there in the world, somewhere. There's every chance that they could cross paths with him once again, maybe even in another side quest. And maybe that side quest could end with a boss fight against said dragon. One can only hope.
No, I'm gonna have to disagree on that. Why do I keep exiting this? I don't have to show anything. Corey has said that the dragons we free are going to be important in the story of the coming games. But why would Fafnir attack us? He's on our side now. I'm assuming since we saved him. So I don't think he's going to be a boss fight.
Athena.
I'm just gonna call it. No, Athena's not gonna be a boss battle yet. No, she's gonna be like Thanos. She's gonna be teased at the end of the Norse mythology games. I'm predicting that, but I could be wrong. We'll see.
This one's a little tricky. By all accounts, Athena is dead.
No!
She was very much around, if not alive, in God of War 3. In the 2018 game, meanwhile, she showed up in a couple of scenes, though the jury's still out on whether she was actually Athena herself or just a hallucination.
It was a hallucination. It was all in his head. The writers have confirmed it, but okay.
Perhaps just a storytelling device. Either way, it's clear that the series isn't willing to let Kratos live down his eventful past all that easily, and nor should it. And if it does want to double down on that, bringing Athena back would be the perfect way to do so. We do admit doing that might seem a little tricky and maybe even incongruous with the direction the story is taking, but we'd be thrilled if Ragnarok does manage to find a way to bring her back in a satisfactory manner, and have Kratos fight against her to put her down for good.
I'm gonna have to disagree on that. I don't think we're gonna be fighting Athena anytime soon. We might see hints that she exists somewhere, but I don't think we're actually gonna be fighting it. But I do have a Greek deity that I think we'll be fighting, because I wholeheartedly believe that we're gonna be going back to Greece in the next game. So we're gonna be fighting Artemis, Apollo, a Greek god of some kind, but not Athena. I'm gonna have to say no on that. And I keep saying like I'm gonna have to say no as if I work for Santa Monica Studios. I don't. These are just my predictions against their predictions. Either one of us could be right or wrong. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna fight Athena. Let me know what you guys think down there, okay?
Hraesvelgr, also known as what the hell is that giant bird in Helheim and why hasn't Kratos ripped its wings off already? Supposed to be a boss fight in the 2018 game, but the game's development timeline forced SIE Santa Monica to cut it out of the game. As disappointing as that is, we're hoping that they will decide to finish what they started in Ragnarok. A boss fight against that giant is just the sort of thing that God of War does often, and does so well, which is to say that we'll be really surprised if the boss fight isn't in the game.
He's right in the sense that it was originally a boss fight, but I don't think we're going to be fighting him in the next game, because we see murals of him fighting in Ragnarok, or at least we think it's him. It's just a mysterious bird at this moment in the mural, so most likely it's going to be him. But I guess this is their last entry. Let's see. Oh, crap.
Sooner or later, Kratos and Atreus will obviously go up against Odin. He's the big bad of this arc, and he's going to be their final enemy before God of War wraps up its Norse saga. And there's every chance that SIE Santa Monica saves him for the final game of the saga, and instead focuses on someone else, probably Thor, as the primary villain in Ragnarok. Then again, that doesn't mean that Odin cannot be a boss in the next game. Zeus was the big bad of the series' Greek saga, and he ultimately died in God of War 3. But there was a pretty rad Zeus boss fight in God of War 2, so who's to say something similar cannot happen in Ragnarok?
Yeah, I think we're going to be fighting Odin as well. I almost said Zeus. I think we're going to be fighting Odin, and we're going to kill him. And I know a lot of people disagree on this, but I think the responsibility to carry Asgard is going to fall on Thor. Maybe. I don't know. That's why I believe Thor and Freyr are going to be the final boss fight.
And with that, we reached the end.
So that's it. I mean, yeah, I mean, I liked their videos a lot more than I like Watch Mojo's. But I still disagree with a few entries. Yeah, I don't know if I should tell you. I'm just gonna save it for the video, I guess. I just wanted to do this reaction because I do like GamingBolt a little bit more. But anyways, let me know in the comment section below which boss battles do you think we're gonna see in the next game. I told you what I think we're gonna be seeing. I've fixed somewhat my original list. I don't like that list anymore. So I think this is a better one. Again, I have to make a full-fledged video explaining why, more in detail, why I think we're gonna be fighting these guys. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and until then, remember, go forth. You know what? No, I actually forgot that I have to leave a comment in their video because I did one for Watch Mojo, and I want to see what I want to see if they reply just like Watch Mojo did, which I was really embarrassed about that, by the way. But it doesn't matter. I didn't like their list that much. GamingBolt on the other hand was pretty good. So what am I gonna say? I'm thinking of saying like you actually convinced me with the Freyr entry. Would love have you guys on the next podcast. Freyr entry. Would love to have you guys in the next podcast. They're not gonna say yes. They're super busy. I know they're not. It's just a joke. So yeah, let's just go with that. Let's go with that. So yeah, after watching this video, go to their video and make sure to like this one. Maybe we'll get a reply. I just want to see what they say. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you to all of my members for their monthly support of the channel. You guys just rock. And to all the people who share and like my videos, you guys are awesome. So till then, remember, go forth in the name of Ragnarok.